Obamacare. Joining me now, Republican Congressman Sean Duffy of Wisconsin. Good to have you this morning.
Good to be with you, Shannon. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, so listen, the president, campaigned on overhauling the swamp, overhauling Washington, getting things done. He's come up against the bureaucracy, and you know well how things work in Washington. So who's in the wrong here, Washington or the president? Which is broken?
Well, listen, the president's right. I mean, he campaigned on repealing and replacing Obamacare, but the Senate and the House also campaigned on repealing and replacing Obamacare. But I got to tell you, the president's been pretty docile with the Senate's failure. We know that he can send out really mean and aggressive tweets. He's been pretty nice in the tweets he sent out against the Senate. And I got to tell you what, I feel bad for Mitch McConnell. Mitch has done everything he can to try to get his Senate online to pass some form of a repeal and replace. So these are two leaders who are trying to get to the same end goal, which is a repeal and replace. It's just that Mitch isn't able to corral some of his Senate Republicans to vote with him, which is too bad.
We know you all have passed a lot of things in the House that didn't get to the finish line in the Senate. So credit to the House for getting a lot of legislation through the channels there in Washington. Here's what former House Speaker Gingrich has to say about who's to blame in this whole thing.
It was a collective failure. Both the Trump administration and the Republicans in the Senate failed. But to get involved in shooting at each other when there were 16 Democrats voting no for every single Republican who voted no is goofy.
So how do they patch things up?
Well, I think the Speaker is correct in that, we have Democrats who passed Obamacare. It's a failed health care system. People are getting hurt in places like Wisconsin. Our premiums have gone up by 93% since the passage of Obamacare. Democrats have a lot to blame for in a lack of some kind of fix to health care. They sit on the sidelines and point at us, but really they're the ones to blame here. But if we look at the two pathways forward, Shannon, you have a free enterprise healthcare system that we're advocating for, or you have socialized medicine, which is what Democrats are advocating for. If Mitch McConnell can't get healthcare back onto the Senate floor, you're going to see, I think, a single-payer system, and you're going to blame the 6-8 Republicans who wouldn't vote to repeal Obamacare. They're going to be the godfathers of socialized medicine when they promised their constituents that they would vote to repeal and replace. This is a straight-up fabrication. Frankly, it's a lie, and the way you get this back on track is to get not Democrats, but Republican donors, Republican supporters, the people who walk doors for you, hand out flyers for you, come to your parades. When they start calling these senators and go, this is absolutely unacceptable, we're not going to support you in the next election, and we might support your primary opponent, then you'll start to see them act. And this is a vote, Shannon, that doesn't just have impact on the next election. This is a vote in the Senate that constituents will remember for a very long time, not just in 2018, but 2020 and 2022. If we don't get health care done, these senators who voted no are going to pay the price at the ballot box.
All right, you say folks should be making those phone calls. Another phone caller, Ed Henry, reported on tense, we're told, about 10 minutes between the president and the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell. He expressed his frustrations, not only that they haven't gotten things done, but it sounds like in this call he's expressing his frustration that Mitch McConnell was talking about it publicly, about the president's mismanaged expectations. These are two grown men. They're both ambitious and want to get things done. Do you think they get quickly back on the same page?
I think the private conversation is a way better way to do it. If you look at what happened with Jeff Sessions and all the tweets that were going out publicly against him from the president, I think to put the Twitter away and to actually have two grown men who are on the same page with the same goals, talking to each other and not having it so public is a really great approach. I'm happy that they had a 10-minute conversation. It looks like they were able to vent to each other. And that's a template you need to have them both singing off the same sheet of music moving forward. Because when you have the Congress fighting with the Republicans, it shows a sense of chaos, which we don't want to present to the American people. They got to work together to get these senators on page to vote to pass health care reform, and they're stronger unified as opposed to fighting one another.
We will see if that is the result. Congressman Sean Duffy, thank you so much.